sometimes reality just feels like I'm tripping on psychedelics in any case, and I'm not. Now let's throw some psychedelics into the mix, and shit could get crazy. Holy shit. Lost is in the belief that we should be somewhere other than we currently are. Fuck me, I'm a little bit lost. Oh my god, we did it again. Okay, let me just break the ice here. I've been playing with microdosing psychedelics for a while now to enhance my exploration of reality and see if there was any insights to be found there. And it's been worthwhile for me. I've had some very profound benefits from it, but that's for another day. Today's plan for the video is I will be taking not a microdose of LSD, I'll be taking a mini dose. A full dose, for people that don't know much about LSD, a full dose is around 150 to 200 micrograms. But today I want to go for a slightly larger dose because I'm making this video. I've cut a little LSD tab. I don't know if this will focus. No, my selfie cam is not made for macro shots. That is a quarter of a tab. So let's say I'm taking 67.5 mini dose of LSD. And then the plan is to go for a 4-hour hike on Table Mountain. And I'm gonna record my experience of what it's like hiking for 4 hours on the mountain while tripping on let's call it a 70 microgram dose. So without further ado, there goes the LSD. There we go. There's the coffee. Yum, yum. So I can actually already feel some effects from the LSD. Just like a relaxation in the body. I think oh fuck, I ran out of water. Alright, so I got my coffee. Damn, I need a fucking long arm to do this shit. For those of you who don't know much about LSD, it's a powerful psychedelic for kind of investigating your psyche. Let me tell you why I got interested in LSD actually. Caffeine is like a socially accepted daily drug, right, that affects our consciousness, and it's addictive. So I hadn't used caffeine in ages, and I started using it again, and I was very sensitive to the effects. So I was really kind of observing it. Caffeine really helped me focus in, get shit done. Reading Michael Pollan's book, it's really fascinating how it's like a very left brain driven drug, and the way it got mass adopted by society, it's like part of the reason I feel like we live in such a stress-based, high performance, separated, isolated, abstract, living in the head world, I think is a lot to do with our mass addiction to caffeine. But I was curious of like, what if there's something that we can take that can enhance right brain, like kind of activation daily, you know, well, not daily, but that's when I started researching my LSD. And yeah, and in the same way of caffeine, like I was thinking, what can I go have a cup of creativity? Yeah, so this was my interest in LSD, and basically I'm very interested in on a mental health perception as well. I feel like mental health support needs something more than antidepressants and talk therapy. So anyways, that's enough pre-talk. Alrighty, time to go. So we're here at the place where I want to go hike. I've got a friend who says overcast weather is never fun, but we embrace it. Yeah, let's hit the road. Alrighty, and we begin. Jesus, really misty out here. Kind of wishing I'd brought a warmer top, but we'll just have to keep moving. I was just speaking to the dude at the shop, and he said the mist is coming and going, so maybe it gets better. I'm really enjoying the mist, actually. It's got a mysterious vibe to it, you know. It's quite an interesting experience for me, actually. The main difference for me is not the LSD. I can slightly feel it in the body, but the main thing that's interesting for me to explore is the idea of doing a vlog while I'm walking, because I'll hike here often on my own, and then what I'll do is I'll just really explore the kind of boundaries of separation that the mind places on reality. So like non-dual inquiries, I'll be walking in nature, and then I will just what feels like it's moving through the visual field, right? This is the kind of stuff I would usually just do. And then I'll be 100% sober. Although maybe sometimes on caffeine. You see, sober is a confusing term. No, but I won't be on anything, and yet it will kind of, to the average human being, it would feel like tripping balls, because your sense of self can really start to intermingle with the environment. Like, literally, sometimes reality just feels like I'm tripping on psychedelics in any case, and I'm not. So now let's throw some psychedelics into the mix, and a vlog, which I haven't done, and shit could get crazy. Okay, our walking is, 4 hours is a fucking long time. So I'm gonna have to do a fair bit of silence. Which is quite funny because you get into this vlogging mode and it's quite fun. It feels like I'm talking to someone. So we're not far. It's so mysterious with the mist. I'm actually really grateful for this weather, to be honest, because I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous about the idea of vlogging about LSD on a public hiking trail. I could be walking and then somebody comes up behind me and I'm busy talking about drugs. This is a much more fun way of hiking than just on my own. Could be because I'm on LSD as well. That would probably make it quite fun. Okay, I'm back because I really like this section of trail. It's so, I just love it. I don't know, I can lose myself in it. Yeah, I can definitely feel that LSD starting to kick in more. Time feels so weird nowadays, I can't even describe it. You can really let go of it. And everything just feels like the same moment. Okay, now you're going to think this is just the LSD talking, but this is how I feel. I mean, what's different from 2 seconds ago? Other than the story saying that was 2 seconds ago and this is now. So, yeah. Yo, I'm starting to feel LSD in my stomach now. 2 kilometers in. Oh man, this is nice. This is so nice. Man, LSD just makes you enjoy everything. Maybe the shadow is coming later. Fuck, another waterfall. I love it. Okay, so that's the nice thing about hiking in this mist is, well, at this time of year, to be honest, you don't get that water in summer, whereas now we do. See, this is what the LSD does. It just loosens you up socially as well. I just become this fucking character with no doubt of yourself, right? Okay, this could, I don't know, to be honest, if it's a good or a bad thing. Ooh, the mist is clearing. Wow, it's crazy what this has on your sense of perception, right? You don't realize it when the mist is so thick. You just feel you're experiencing reality a certain way. And now it just feels so much more open again. This is a good metaphor for sense of self. I do notice this as well though. When I go somewhere where I'm less kind of tied down to conventional reality. So like here, the further I get away from the collective mind, so on the mountain, right? Getting far, the further away, the more I feel my own energy loosen up. There's definitely something about that. I think Matt Garrett has spoken about it before, where he was the first one that put me onto the idea, or like opened up the idea of this kind of collective energy effect, where he said like flying in an aeroplane, you feel, you know, you have much more limitless ideas because you're not bound down by our like collective doubts and fears of what we're limited in, right? And I noticed this is where the idea came to film this vlog. Actually, I was flying 2 days ago and all of these ideas that would usually have scared me seemed like such great ideas while I was in the sky. And this was one. It was like, okay, I'm going to film a vlog where I take LSD and I go hike on the mountain. Oh, my legs are starting to feel weird. And then when I landed, I could feel all the doubts again. It was pretty incredible, to be honest. Where my mind was like, oh, I don't know if that's a good idea. And it makes so much sense, right? You're disconnected from our conventional simulation when you're in the sky. It is this energetic effect. keep wondering. I can actually see him here, but I was like, if there's somebody walking up behind me and I'm busy dropping bombs about acid, you know, gotta be on my toes. Alrighty. So, how far are we now? 42 minutes. The kind of environment has shifted a little bit. It was a bit of a narrow path earlier. Now you can see. Can you see it? You can see a bit of the ocean there, right? Yeah, wow, what an interesting experience. I'm really enjoying this. Can definitely smell the LSD. It's funny, right? That's when I noticed the thought to check behind me. Whenever I say the word LSD, then there's like a second thought in my head that's just like, oh, look if there's somebody behind you. That's funny. Here's the one thing I noticed about LSD, just from microdoses mostly, to be honest. This overwhelming sense of appreciation, right? It's like I feel it in the heart, right? This like, as I'm walking here, I'm like, wow, it just feels so good. So I was taking like 15 microgram doses every like 3 or 4 days. You take one, then you have like 3 days where you don't take, and those are very small doses. And yeah, whatever I would go and do, there was just this extra sense of appreciation, I would say is the word, of wow. So I guess that's serotonin, right? Dopamine is future oriented. So you have a cup of coffee and then I start thinking about all these cool things I can do in the future. It's like, oh, I'm going to create this, I'm going to create that. And that's what we've done for so long with society, right? As we focus on the future. We're focused on creation, but like technology, very left-brained. External reality, right? That's another thing with dopamine, right? External focus. So anyways, that's what I noticed on LSD. But yeah, it makes sense that it works in your serotonin system, and then you enjoy the moment. Now, here's some proper water. It's really loud. I don't know. Wow. Luckily there's these rocks here. I can go one rock. Hello. I was listening to Albert Hoffman's book, and he was talking about some like fucking traumatic LSD trips. And that's the shadow, right? Like, I can see how this could go down a shadow pathway if I hadn't done so much work around releasing the pull towards resistance, right? So like the resistance thoughts would come up, and in the past I would completely go down that pathway. If I hadn't done like a couple of years worth of integration, meditation, awakening work, releasing the separate self, blah, 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 it has its effect, right? You can, having never done any of that work, to then take an LSD dose and go for a walk in nature and then start to notice the thoughts becoming very paranoid about what other people might think. Could have turned into a nightmare trip, to be honest. That's kind of cool. I've been learning that I need to allow myself to, well, I have been doing that recently, but it's just all these different kind of people and signs in my life are pointing me in the same direction, which is more and more expression and just allowing myself to express the entirety of me and not try to be some fucking awakened person. Ooh, I like where we're heading now. I hiked this trail like 2 years ago. It's like when I was in my awakening phase, full recovery, it was the same thing. At the time I was calling it more just full recovery. And then, man, I was just so living in freedom again, like just doing things. I often reflect back on that time of my life and kind of miss it. But then I realized it's just a path going deeper, right? I wasn't integrated with the world then. I wasn't having to earn a living because I had been so sick for so long. All of those responsibilities luckily had been taken off my plate. And yeah, now it's a different reality. It's like, now how do I engage in the real world? That was easy mode and still find that freedom. And it's just in different spaces, right? Now the freedom feels like more in conventional reality, as there was the freedom from being away from conventional reality. Oh, it's getting steep. I've only hiked this once, and it was, as I was talking about earlier, before I got distracted. It was after I just recovered after being sick for 2 years, thinking that I would never exit the house again and never be able to exercise again and never be able to do anything with my life. Those were the darkest days, to be honest. But they had its purpose, for sure, as I try to share with people. Oh, got some extra lighting here. Yeah, and then I went and did this hike, and it's just fucking mind-blowing. Forgot about the steep section. It's pretty incredible though. Reminds me of like images of like a Zen monastery. Think about it, like just some steps and then some mist. What? Look at that! I'm just enjoying this too much. It's fucking incredible. I can't stay in this little mental world. What? Look at this. No, come on. Oh shit, how am I gonna get through there with all my stuff? Okay, wow. I thought the last waterfall was sick. Get acid, guys. This is way cooler. Holy shit. Okay, I think, fuck, everything's gonna get wet, man. And I might slip and die. Like, that's a bit sketchy, bro. So I kinda wanna film it, but this could end very bad. My bag's gonna get, I don't know if these earphones, my phone is waterproof, but I don't know if my earphones are waterproof. I mean, they should be, to be honest. Okay, fuck it. I'm just gonna go through it. I'm gonna film so you can see. Holy shit. Oh my god. Fuck. I guess we'll find out how well my earphones work. But I am fucking soaked. Like. Oh, but it's so fun. Dangerous ascent. Should we do it? Probably not. But I'm gonna get kind of cold. I didn't bring anything to warm me up. Maybe I'll go viral. Guy gets lost on the mountain and dies of hypothermia. Let's hope not though. Oh, more water. So yeah, in Cape Town it's been raining pretty heavily the last couple of days. And this is what we get. Fucking fun time on the mountain. I feel like LSD just makes me like a more fun version of myself. I'll just be like me, but way cooler and funnier. Like way funnier. I'm normally funny, but not this funny. It's literally only the second time I've been here. I feel like I keep repeating that fact. The first time was when I recovered from my long COVID. Ho ho ho. This is not so flat anymore. We've kind of come to the end of the pipe track. And now it's the ladder and stairs track. This is like the perfect spot to have a little break. Undercover. Man, this is like fucking perfect. So I just found something out. I was playing back one of my videos to make sure that my earphones are still working. And I found out that when I've been talking a lot, and when I'm crossing from my front camera to my rear camera to show you guys the scenery, then my audio cuts out. So it's going to be kind of interesting because I think I was doing it quite a lot when I was walking, and then I'd be like this, like I'm carrying on talking. See, I carried on talking now, but I just played it back and it did cut out. So I did it again, right? I keep forgetting it. I was carried on talking and I just switched it. That'll be fun for editing. Sure, now that I'm stopped. It's pretty cold out here, especially when you're just been drenched in water. But quite incredible. Compare this to sitting at home making Instagram reels or something, which is probably what I would have been doing if I hadn't had this acid trip idea. And I'm fucking glad. Alright, I'm gonna have some lunch and I will try to save my battery. Alrighty, let's go. Had some food, had some water. Now where do we go? Ah, more waterfalls. Okay, wait, let me switch. Oh man, this is too cool. Fuck me. Ah. Oh my god, it doesn't stop. Oh Jesus, I'm cold though. Stop it. Stop saying you're cold. You're making yourself more cold by saying that. Oh, but I am cold. I knew this as I was leaving the house. I was like, I should have brought a warmer top. But if I get soaked like that, I don't think it really matters what I was wearing. It was funny when I paused there. I put my phone in airplane mode. And then I just realized how quickly the conventional sense of self comes back. As I was getting emails, then I started to think about my email life. And yeah, it's just that disconnect. Like, even though I'm talking to my phone, I'm not tied into all of these identities I have with other people. I'm just kind of expressing what's coming up on my mind. Here's the ocean. Wow, what a beautiful ocean. It's so nice. Oh, more watery falls. That's nothing new for us by now. We are accustomed. It's quite an interesting thought experiment. This massive ocean, it's still right there, but it doesn't really feel like it. No, but that is kind of weird, because normally I walk along here and everything feels so massive and expansive and limitless because there's this huge ocean here, and I sometimes just stare at the horizon and feel into how far away does that feel like. And this is kind of a non-dual inquiry I do. You realize that there's no distance in the experience itself. So basically, if I'm looking at the horizon, and you think the horizon is like limitless distance as far as we can see, because normally there's things blocking how far we can see. So horizon is the best one to explore distance. So I'll be staring out at the ocean horizon, and then I'll ask myself, where does the feeling of distance come in? Like, how far away does that feel? And can I experience that distance, or is it just a thought? And that's like a non-dual inquiry that I learned from Angelo. Anyways, that horizon, the mind will be saying like it's 500 kilometers away. But in my experience, it's right here. Like, how am I experiencing it? Where am I experiencing it? Am I experiencing it 500 kilometers away? Or am I experiencing it here? Or is it both? Because the mind's version of reality is not wrong. I mean, it kind of is. Because it's wrong because it believes it's so limited that it's the only possible way to experience reality. And the mind thinks it knows everything. But it's not wrong, right? So this is what I was talking about earlier, is like realizing when you awaken to the non-dual experiences, you realize that the conventional reality is true as well, the human world. Right? So this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. It's realizing with my expression that talking too much about the non-dual no self. My mind had imagined it as a separate world that was correct, and the normal human world was wrong. And I think it's a developmental phase of the awakening process. As something drops away, the old mechanisms are going to try and operate in the same way. So this one goes up, and this one, I've been on this one. I've been halfway up. That's the furthest I've been on this trail. Let's go this way. This is something that this guy I was talking about right at the beginning. He posted something the other day that said it's like the human wants to transcend itself to become the universe, right? Which is often what this awakening project is about. We want to merge with the universe, realize our infinite being, and no longer feel like a small separate individual, which is one side of it. But then the other side of it is realizing that that infinite being, that universe, holy shit, I almost died. But what I was saying, that infinite being wants to be a human, right? You as the universe chose to come into this life and live as a small separate individual, and then to forget who you really were, to wake up and realize your infinite connection, that you've never been separate. But at the same time, it's not about like trying to transcend your human experience, right? This is the trap which I've fallen into many a time. And I think it's like if I look at my astrology, it says I'm prone to try and escape this reality because I'm a Pisces, and apparently that's what we do. We try to escape, which feels pretty relevant to my whole life. Feeling a lot of pain and suffering and wanting to escape. And now I don't do that.
I just take drugs and go hiking on the mountain away from the rest of the world. What? Who's escaping now? Haha. Jokes. But yeah, this infinite being wanted to be a human, and you got to embrace that. And even everything, the smallness of feeling isolated, right? Nobody chose that except you. Stop creating an external force that is limiting you, and realize that it's your own resistance patterns that you chose to put in place to help yourself grow. How's that for empowering? Where the fuck does this path go, man? Whoa, I almost fell off the mountain. I was really hoping this path would materialize into something more than just bushes and rocks. Alrighty, I'm gonna take a little break. We still supposedly have another 2.5 hours to go. Whose idea was this 4-hour thing? Time for a bit of stillness. Yeah, it's really nice to just slow down. You can kind of feel into this different space that's there now. It kicked in a while ago, but when you're hiking, you're just kind of in the moment of what's happening. Whereas now, I can feel the difference in meditating than what I would normally have when I would just sit still. Depth's the word, because if I say there's a whole nother dimension of being, that the mind creates these kind of ideas of this like imagined other dimension, right? But it's a depth, right? It's a depth to this that is so much deeper. But wow, I can really feel now that I'm sitting still. I'm giving it a chance to penetrate a lot deeper, and it's pretty profound. Like, I can feel into the space as I'm talking. It's crazy. You've probably got no idea what I'm talking about. We are now an hour 56 in. Yeah, here's another interesting thing about psychedelics is, oh fuck. Wow. Okay, I gotta be a bit more careful. I just slipped and fell on my ass. What was I saying? I think I wanted to make the point of, I don't know if I was busy saying this, but now I want to make the point of, I noticed with any psychedelic, I don't know if THC counts as a psychedelic, but it does now. Let me just focus. What I was saying about THC and other psychedelics is you can really, I've found, miss the depths if you don't sit and meditate. You can really miss the depths of how profound an effect these substances can actually have on your consciousness. So I'm noticing it now with the LSD. When I'm hiking and I'm talking and creating a video for you guys, then it's cool. I can feel there's a different aspect to my thought process, the way I'm able to communicate, the flow of this, the ideas. It feels different, right? But you miss out on the true depth of how much this is affecting your consciousness until you stop and sit and feel into it. And I noticed this with THC as well, marijuana, that, you know, if I take edibles or something for the purpose of inquiry and I distract myself, or I just get caught up in the world of mind, then it doesn't even feel like the substances has such an effect on my consciousness. But if I stop and sit and meditate, I can be like, oh my fucking god, there's a depth of beingness, you could call it, or the sense of self is just so different to what it usually feels like. It makes a big difference. If you do something, you get high or you trip, and then you kind of keep yourself busy, you don't really notice how deep it actually goes, compared to if you sit and you meditate and you do some self-inquiry and you feel into your own beingness, the sense of you as you are listening to this, being you in your version of this seamless connected reality. We are at 2 hours though, so that's good news. That means I can turn. So we're 2 hours into the hike. I have been tripping on acid for, I don't know. Tripping on acid sounds so harsh though, right? It sounds so judgmental. More like I have been using a consciousness enhancement tool to explore my own consciousness. I'm going to pause here and continue. I'll check in again just now. Woo! So some of the mist is cleared, and now I can see how close this is. I'm retracing where I was earlier. I had no idea how close I was to some pretty big drop-offs. And I was slipping around, and yeah, quite crazy, because I couldn't see that earlier. Now I can see it. Quite wild. Fucking cold as well. Wow, we can finally see the ocean, guys. This has been long awaited. I don't even know if this is where I was walking earlier. I honestly have no idea where the fuck I am. It's kind of cool though. Again, I could see how this could have turned into a hellish experience. I don't remember taking this path earlier. I don't even think this classifies as a path. I'm just fucking clambering over rocks and bushes. Alrighty, I'm still going. Yo, we made it. This was that little path that I took earlier, and it feels like I did a whole little side quest. That was kind of like entering the shadow, but it wasn't bad. It was just very, what's the word, like ethereal? I don't know if that's a word. I feel like it's a word. It felt like a whole different world in there, to be honest. I can't see where I was. It is like a different world. It's like there's a veil. Yeah, it was weird. Now I'm on the other side of it, and I'm heading back. I guess it was the unknown, right? I had no fucking clue where I was when I was there. Yeah, it's interesting, because now I feel like I know where I am again, which is an interesting feeling, because yeah, it's all about the known and the unknown, isn't it, with awakening and all of that. Quite incredible to be completely in the unknown, like there in the mist. Had no idea where I was. What's also incredible though was the feeling that all of a sudden I know where I am again. But that's just a mental overlay, right? It's the way our minds navigate reality. It's like this feeling of certainty and safety in the known, which is understandable, right? Because we're creatures that in the conventional world, we're navigating this world, and we keep ourselves safe by using our knowledge of things, which is respectable. The human being knows that there are certain things that are dangerous, and it wants to avoid that. Well, it's windy here. And there are certain things that are beneficial, and it wants to pursue that. What's also really nice here is I can walk much more freely, which I'm noticing. That was what was very different there. Was I was having to focus so much on not falling off the fucking mountain, whereas now I'm just able to walk quite naturally again. And now my thoughts can flow. It's so funny, again, when attention is pulled out of the mind, the ability to create a coherent stream of consciousness obviously kind of gets affected. I had no idea what this little idea was going to turn into, this 4-hour trip. I mean, we're only halfway there. We're on our way back to conventional reality, and I can feel the kind of energetics of it as well. Kind of what I was talking about earlier, that kind of energetic mass of people and our, in the head world, very much mental based reality, where everybody will be living as separate individuals, and if I see somebody I'll say hi, I'm separate and you're separate, blah blah blah. Okay, I won't say that because then they'll think I'm fucking crazy, and that's all just in my head, like making up as if there's two separate worlds. But again, we can still talk about this stuff. And yeah, it's a different feeling from heading away from it, right? That kind of relief of, like I was saying, when I get away from the city, from civilization into nature, like this hike, it's so incredible. Now it feels like I'm heading back towards it, towards that world, and it feels so far away at the same time. But I feel like I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, yeah, because I'm still out here. See, this is what the mind does. It starts thinking about the future, planning, making strategies, creating fears, things to avoid, things to chase. It all makes sense, but we have to bring it back into balance. But it's definitely not fucking in balance at the moment, the way the world is. For me, I'm an eternal optimist. I don't identify as an eternal optimist, but I just see the way that I think about the world. And it's funny, that comes from a lot of work I had to do, because I was a bit of a pessimist for a while and quite depressed. Yeah, I had to do a lot of work on getting out of that, which is what some of my other content is about. It's like getting out of those periods of stuckness in your life. But I'm not going to go too much into that here. What I wanted to say was, everything serves its purpose, right? So I see people that talk about kind of the world as being so fucked up, and it is in some senses, but again, I just focus on the eternal optimist perspective, and it's not even feels like an effort, it's just the way that I see things, is that everything has its purpose, right? Technology, the massive strides we've made in technology and the massive mistakes we've made in technology, it all is part of this game that we're learning what we can do, what we can create. And you know, people focus too much on the negatives, which is fair because there's lots we need to fix. But I mean, look how positively it can be used as well. Like, I'm only able to record this video of myself hiking and sharing profound wisdom with you. No, I'm joking. Well, no, not really. No, but that was a joke. I'm making fun of myself. Yay, we're back in waterfall territory. But what I was saying about technology is I'm only able to create this because of the tech giants like Samsung, who created cool video cameras, and YouTube, who has created this cool video sharing platform. And yet I could sit here and be like, oh, fuck them, capitalism, blah blah blah. And I'm not, okay, maybe that was a bit harsh, making fun of people, but I do feel like we have to acknowledge that there's both sides, right? And let's focus on using technology instead of just pretending that it shouldn't have happened. Man. See, this is the important balance that we've come out of with society, is to focus on the technological advancements, but we stop and forget the pure technology and beauty of a leaf. So I don't know where I started this whole thing, but yeah, I feel like we really can do a lot by embracing the state that the world is in, because that's all you can ever do, right? There's no point in imagining if we'd never discovered something, or, you know, it was a mistake that there's so much technology or there's so much AI. Like, it's not. We can still use it in way healthier ways than we do, but it doesn't mean that we need to revert the simulation back to previous levels. I don't think so. Yeah, maybe psychedelics can play a role in this. That's what I'm interested in with psychedelics and mental health. Yeah, like I was talking about it at the start of the day, about caffeine. That keeps us locked up in that other world, right? Of technological progress with no connection to our true self, right? We completely fucking forget who we are and what we're doing. What a trip it's been. It's interesting, the different stages of this LSD experience as well. It feels a lot more grounded now. It feels like earlier there was a lot of in the head kind of egoistic excitement, which is cool. Nothing wrong with that. But man, this is so beautiful. Oh, the ocean's there, baby. Okay, wait. Let me get to some good footage. Finally. That's the ocean I've been telling you about. And it's finally here. Oh wow, it's such a different experience when it's here. Alright, we're back at that waterfall. Okay. I swear it's bigger than it was last time. Holy shit. How did I do this last time? I think I was a little bit higher. Alrighty, here we fucking go. Oh my god, we did it again. Whoa. So, we are back. I feel like that waterfall was way bigger this time than last time. Oh my god. This is actually just incredible. It's fucking mind-blowing. Wow. Gives me chills. I think that could be the waterfall that I just ran through. And this is the beauty of the vlogging, because I get to share this now. And this, you know, we can take this onto a whole different level with the separate self. Like, I was listening to Angelo DeLulo talk with Richard Lang. It's a really cool conversation. Check it out on Angelo's channel, Simply Always Awake. It's cool. Richard Lang talks about the headless way. While you're currently experiencing reality, you don't see your head. Well, I actually do. Because it's sitting in front of me on my camera screen. So yeah, sorry, the headless way doesn't work. The ability to share is the whole reason we play this game, or this was what the thought experiment Richard Lang was talking about with Angela. You know, we can look at the separate self as like, why do we believe we're separate? But it's, think if you're a universal consciousness, okay, you can exist, wow, that's cool. But then now you can divide yourself up into believing that you are separate, and now you can share your separate experience of being with other individuals. And this is the part of the awakening that I think is often left out. To really embrace that side of it, to be like, hey, you can wake up to your wholeness, and now you can share that. Now you see why we separate ourselves into all these individuals who truly believe that they are separate. Otherwise it's not fun to share, right? You really have to believe that that individual is not you. Like, everybody watching this, I truly believe that you aren't me, and now I can show you what I'm up to in my version of reality. And that's what's beautiful, is embracing that, right? So this is what, to bring that back. So that was the universal perspective of awakening. But yeah, like I was saying, the sharing side of things is quite special, actually. With awakening, we can get too focused on no self. That, well, for me, I can just speak from my own experience. I feel like I was talking about the same thing when I passed the other way. That's something trippy as well. I do feel like certain areas we walk through have certain energies associated with them, and it affects the way we will think, obviously, because everything's connected, right? So you're just moving through yourself, really. I think we forget about the beauty of connection on the human level. This is what I was saying earlier. We focus too much on trying to transcend our humanness, that we forget that we wanted all of this. And embracing the sharing aspect, I think, is what's key. And finding unique ways to share. I guess this is what I'm really liking about this vlog style compared to the type of videos that I used to make. It just feels really fucking fun to share things that feel more important. Wow. It really is a whole different world now that the mist is lifted. It just has such a much more expansive feeling. It's very interesting doing it a little bit in silence and then recording again. You know, I can see making some perspectives about talking and sharing, and then realizing the value in not having to say anything for a while and just letting all sense of one that's communicating drop away. It's quite cool to do both. It's funny, the playing with silence and talking. It's like, in one sense, there's nothing that needs to be said, ever. Because words can never capture anything. It's the same. I just walked past an old man, and I wanted to say something about how beautiful all of this is, right? And I just said hi, because it didn't form into words, basically. But then at the same time, when I'm walking here, I can just be like, well, what if I don't say anything? Well, even like the expression of something to say, and then I'm like, and there's nothing wrong if I don't say it, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's like that balance, right? We get so caught up in the verbal world is the only way of expressing. Matt Garrett made a video the other day. Well, not talking. He didn't talk, right? It was like a 2-minute video where he just... like non-verbal communication. It's just so cool. So it's quite fun playing with that, but then also realizing, I guess, my perspective on it is that communication is still helpful as well, because I get too caught up in that sometimes. But if somebody is living entirely on that verbal reality, then you kind of want to meet them there, because otherwise their separate individual self might not understand what's going on. You know, I've had that where I'm like, I'm comfortable with the silence, I'm comfortable with the uncomfortableness of the silence, right? So it's still uncomfortable, but there's no problem with that. I mean, hold on, look at those mountain heads, guys. That is fucking cool. But here's the thing, right? I realized that I wasn't making an effort to communicate with others in the verbal, conceptual realm. So it's the balance, right? Because then we get too sucked into that, and this is the dance, finding the stillness within myself and everything around me, and then not fixating on that though, and embracing the dance of our relative reality. And it's an eternal dance. So how long are we in? Let's see. 3 hours, 14 minutes, 10 kilometers. We're looking at those things. This whole thing started out as a 4-hour hike. I'm so glad I did this, actually, because I've tried LSD before and I just sat at home and meditated, which was cool. It was really cool for the depth of going into myself. But this beauty of nature that's only seen here, being in nature, right? Like the doorways that it opens up into connection with nature. It's amazing. So, here's another insight about psychedelics. It brings us more into touch with just appreciating what's happening now, right? It brings us out of this mind that needs to protect itself and needs to defend itself and be someone and, you know, live a certain life and have all these problems and, you know, this exhausting mind that's trying to control reality. Just the kind of cracking open this can of Coke was very enjoyable. It really kind of, it knocks out that analytical mind for a while. Not knocks out completely, I mean, I guess it depends on your dosage, right? And it has enough of a strong effect to have a very different experience of reality. Everything just feels like there's this beauty in it. It's quite hard to explain. It's just like this underlying faculty of the beauty of everything is much clearer. But yeah, what this dosage of psychedelics does is it's just so beautiful in a way that it's just got this, everything's got this kind of like underlying, it's obviously got to do with the setting as well. Like, this mountain is just so vast and mysterious. Everything has this kind of mystical vibe to it. Don't you see it? It's kind of mystical vibes. This dose, it has that kind of undertone to it. Yeah, I'm still able to converse somewhat coherently. I'm sure I'll watch this back and think to myself, you thought you sounded a lot more coherent than you actually did, mate. But yeah, you get to really live more in the moment. I mean, that sounds so cliche, right? You really do get to do that more with playing with psychedelics. That's what I notice now. Just something as simple as a sip of Coke has way more depth in experience to it. It's like, wow, that can be so enjoyable, but surely I need a successful career, and and that's fine as well. Like, this was part of the whole integration for me, is realizing that it's all part of it. Everything you want is part of it, and it's valid, right? There's no guilt. That's what's key. For me, there was like this spiritual guilt that kind of built up over time, where it was like, I'm not allowed to want things. And I believe that. For me, like everything, it was an important developmental phase, because I think I had to go through that phase so that it didn't become a massive fixation for me. But then realizing that embracing all of that is part of the path as well. So allowing ourselves to be fully human and want all the human things as well. Like myself, I want to be successful on the human level as well, and make an impact and have a nice relationship with somebody. Like, yeah, all these human things, which I wasn't allowing myself as I went deep on the awakening path. I was like, mustn't have these human desires. It's guilt. There was a lot of guilt. But again, it's not like the awakening path was wrong, because I've heard other people talk about this and say like, oh, these teachers misled me. It's not at all like that. It's just how awakening plays out, where you have these realizations, and then you will get caught in fixations, and that's how you learn to let go of those fixations as well. Yeah, but that's the beautiful thing, is that there's nothing that's not allowed. So for me, nowadays I'm really interested in astrology. I find that really fascinating, how the stars and the planets are so accurate in things that are happening in my life. And I know it sounds weird to a lot of people, because it used to for me. I probably would have mocked myself. But the mind does that because it doesn't understand, right? So anything it doesn't understand, it puts that in the box of beneath it. It must be a load of nonsense, and then it judges, right? That's the thing. It's judgment as well. Some kids screaming, probably in a cave or something. I mean, that sounds bad, but I think they're playing with the echo. Yeah, no, it sounds like happy screaming. At first I was like, what the fuck, you just hear screaming from high up on the mountain. There's nothing I can do about it from here, but no, it sounds like kids just having fun. I'm on the wrong path. What the fuck, how did I get here? This isn't the route we came, is it? No, it's not. Is it? Fuck me, I'm a little bit lost. You see, this is the problem with having kind of existential topics, talking about that while I'm trying to navigate, and I'm on LSD, and I'm hypothermic. Kind of makes sense that you're going to take a wrong turn somewhere. Okay, we're a bit lost, so we're not ultimately lost. I know how to get back to where I need to get back to, but I just have no idea why I'm not on the path that I think I'm supposed to be on. What does lost even mean, to be honest? Lost means that we are not where we think we should be. Right? This is okay. This kind of sounds funny now. I'm just breaking down words, but the feeling of being lost is one that people struggle with a lot in life, right? I feel lost. I get questions about this on my YouTube channel, actually. I feel lost, and lost is in the belief that we should be somewhere other than we currently are, right? Maybe there's some value to that. Like, there's truth in all of our experiences. So if there's a part of us that feels lost, it's because there's a part of ourselves that we haven't found yet. It's always right here. It's a part of you. But if it feels lost, I still hear that screaming. So I really hope it is just people playing with echoes and not someone being attacked. But being lost, yeah, there's value to that experience as well, because it's probably telling us that we're living outside of our authentic relationship with ourselves. Anyways, talking about the experience of being lost, it's an interesting one because, you know, the mind can make it into a bigger deal than it is, but it also has value in probably helping us find ourselves again. So if you're feeling lost, ask yourself, is there some part of myself that wants to express something that I'm not allowing, wants to explore something that I'm not allowing? Don't worry, you're never lost though, so that's the key thing, right? Maybe we need to adjust something in our life, maybe we need to come into touch with something, but you're never actually lost, and that's really important. The mind will say it's lost, but the mind sees such a small picture of the way things are playing out that it will always be lost. And then you just learn to embrace that. Here we go. This is the path I was looking for. See, we're not lost. Never have been. Okay, I kind of ran out of storage space, so I had to go delete some stuff, and I'm going to probably have to stop recording because I've only got 3 minutes of storage space left and 6% of battery. So I'll record something when I get back home to kind of talk about the little bit end of my experience. But we're at 3 hours 44 minutes, so almost 4 hours already, and I will catch you on the other side because my battery is literally, I can't see anything anymore because my screen's gone dark, and it says I've only got 3 minutes of storage space left. So I will continue the rest of my hike in silence, which will be quite nice actually, to just explore the intimacy of the moment without having to talk about it. And then I will record something when I get back home. Alright, adios. Okay, so final update before my camera dies. We've hit the 4-hour mark. 5 minutes, 13 kilometers. We're heading back to conventional reality. But yeah, I just thought I'd give one final update. I had a lot of time in silence there. It's pretty incredible. Yeah, just the experience of myself moving through myself, basically. Kind of hard to articulate, but kind of fun too as well. It's that, yeah, the duality of like silence and expression.